Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Barachaka, Kodash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles of the great millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity, and unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning, and unto the Ba'ath Dawadah, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad. I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. Just had a little article here, and it goes into, if DJ Trump, if he wins, this election in upcoming November, and we're going to go into a little bit of something called Project 2025 and what it entails if Trump does win, because it does mention him in here. So, right here it says, this is from the Independent News. It says, Trump says his plan to expel millions of immigrants will be a bloody story. And it says, the GOP's plans for America after a Trump victory include aggressive immigration enforcement and mass deportations. All right, so we're going to go ahead and just read just a little bit of this. We're not going to go too much into it because try to be a bit more concise with my timing here. Just just hit some few key points and Lord willing be edifying. And it says here, Donald Trump has issued yet another ominous warning about his potential second term in the Oval Office, this time promising a bloody story for the millions of immigrants he intends to deport. He made the comments at a campaign rally in Mosinee, Wisconsin on Saturday, echoing the broader Republican National Committee's 2024 platform, or echoing the broader Republican National Committee's 2024 platform, Slovakia. The GOP's plans for America after a Trump victory include aggressive immigration enforcement and mass deportation. That's when Trump alluded to the blood. And getting them out will be a bloody story, Trump said. Undocumented immigrants should have never been allowed to come into our country. Nobody checked them. So, and Donald J. Trump, we all know that he likes to run his mouth about things, but who's to say, who's to say how this is going to go down? Well, if he does win this election, and he plans to follow through with this, because, think about it. Come on, bloody story. Of course he would do this. Okay, so I'm just going to read this right here, because my PS4 is acting up. It says, though Trump did not explain what he meant by a bloody story, he has frequently and falsely insisted that many undocumented workers crossing into the U.S. illegally are criminals released from Venezuelan prisons and other violent lawbreakers. All right, so since this thing's acting up, I'm not gonna continue with it. So I'm gonna go here to Project 2025. I'm gonna read a little bit about this. Slovakia. This thing has a tendency to act up at times. Excuse me. Okay, so, all right, there we go. Okay, so I'm gonna read a little bit more of this, and then I'm gonna get to the Project 2025. And it said he told his supporters that in Colorado they are so brazen they're taking over sections of the state, which is likely a reference to a fake story claiming that a Venezuelan gang took over an apartment building in the city. The fear-mongering and dehumanizing language used by Trump to describe immigrants may be intended to prime his base for more brutal ICE crackdowns should he succeed in November. As was previously reported by the New York Times, Trump's vision for America includes mass deportations that will be so extensive that huge camps will be needed to detain people. To execute his vision, Trump has proposed the creation of a deportation force pulled from local police and National Guard troops volunteered by Republican-run states. The phrase Eisenhower model refers to a 1954 campaign to kick so-called Mexican immigrants, Issacharites, the tribe of Issachar, the so-called Mexican immigrants out of the country. The effort was given the brazenly racist name Operation Wetback. In addition to the bloody story for documented immigrants, things won't be much better for documented students who dared to criticize Israel's actions in Gaza. Okay? So under his plan, foreign students who participated in pro-Palestine or anti-Israel protests would have their visas canceled. And to ensure no one who thinks differently from Republicans makes it across the border, U.S. consular officials would be directed to enact ideological screenings of applicants. Okay, so Trump's most notable anti-immigration minion, Stephen Miller, assured the New York Times that there would be no underplaying the severity of the crackdowns under a second Trump regime. Any activists who doubt President Trump's resolve in the slightest are making a drastic error. Trump will unleash the vast arsenal of federal powers to implement the most spectacular migration crackdown, Miller said. The immigration legal activists won't know what's happening. So, this, I'm going to close this out before it causes more problems and freezes up. So we're going to go into the whole Project 2025 here and read about this. So, if Trump wins this, and if he follows through with his claim here, it's going to be bad. It's going to be a bloody story because people are going to ignore that. But it's going to be bad because people are going to ignore. People are going to be, fighting because the reason why a lot of the so-called Latinos have left Latin America is because of the gangs that run, those areas, like the cartel, the MS-13, Tren de Agua, they don't want to deal with the violence. They don't want to deal with the, they're trying to run away from that stuff, but coming here to America, it really isn't going to be any better, And besides, this is also the will and power of Yahweh Bashim El Shai, because he's bringing the tribes back together. Because some of those illegal, so-called immigrants that are coming here, some of them are of the elect. Okay. Now, right here it says Project 2025, and I'm going to get this real quick, and it says, also known as 2025 Presidential Transition Project, is a political initiative published by the conservative think tank Heritage Foundation in 2022. The project aims to promote conservative and right-wing policies to reshape the United States federal government and consolidate executive power under the premise that Donald Trump wins the 2024 presidential election. The project asserts a controversial interpretation of the unitary executive theory, according to which the entire executive branch is under the complete control of the president. It proposes reclassifying tens of thousands of federal civil service workers as political appointees in order to replace them with people loyal to the president. Okay? Proponents of the project argue it would dismantle what they view as a vast, unaccountable, and mostly liberal government bureaucracy. The project also seeks to infuse the government and society with conservative Christian values. Critics have characterized Project 2025 as an authoritarian Christian nationalist plan to steer the U.S. toward autocracy. So autocracy, it says a system of government in which absolute power is held by the ruler known as an autocrat. It includes some forms of monarchy and all forms of dictatorship. while it is contrasted with democracy and feudalism. Okay. Let me go here real quick. Let's see where I leave off. And feudalism. Various definitions of autocracy exist. They may restrict autocracy to cases where power is held by a single individual, or they may define autocracy in a way that includes a group of rulers who wield absolute power. The autocrat has total control over the exercise of civil liberties within the autocracy, choosing under what circumstances they may be exercised. If at all, governments may also blend elements of autocracy and democracy, forming an anocracy. Okay, which is a form of government that is loosely defined as part democracy and part dictatorship, or as a regime that mixes democratic with autocratic features. Okay, so the concept of autocracy has been recognized in political philosophy since ancient times. So the autocrats maintain power through political repression and any opposition and co-optation of other influential or powerful members of society. Okay? And it says here the general public is controlled through indoctrination and propaganda. And an autocracy may attempt to legitimize itself in the eyes of the public through appeals to political ideology, religion, birthright, or foreign hostility. Okay, let me go back here. So, legal experts have said it would undermine the rule of law. Okay, and separation of powers, separation of church and state, and civil liberties. And civil liberties are guarantees and freedoms that governments commit not to abridge either by constitution, legislation, or judicial interpretation without due process. Though the scope of the term differs between countries, civil liberties may include the freedom of conscience. You can look that up for yourself, but so basically, I'm gonna go back up and read here. It says, so the project aims to promote conservative and right-wing policies to reshape the United States federal government and consolidate executive power under the premises that Donald Trump wins the 2024 presidential election. So in other words, Trump wants to have all that power and authority. Okay? Dictatorship. Okay? And also, as I read earlier about autocracy, if you're not with him, you're against him. Okay? Now, Project 2025 envisions widespread changes to economic and social policies and the federal government and its agencies. The plan proposes taking partisan control of the Department of Justice, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, Department of Commerce, Federal Communications Commission, and Federal Trade Commission, dismantling the Department of Homeland Security, and reducing environmental and climate change regulations to favor fossil fuels. The blueprint seeks to institute tax cuts, but its writers disagree on protectionism. It recommends abolishing the Department of Education, whose programs would be transferred or terminated. Funding for climate research would be cut, and the National Institute of Health would be made less independent, stopped from funding research with embryonic stem cells, or using quotas to promote equal participation by women. The project seeks to cut Medicare and Medicaid and urge the government to explicitly reject abortion as health care. So, the project seeks to eliminate coverage of emergency contraception and use the Comstock Act to prosecute those who send and receive contraceptives and abortion pills. I hope you're listening, women. You ladies, you better take heed to this. And you better be more responsible with your body, since you think you have control. You better be careful who you better start using protection, or you better learn to be celibate, because if Trump wins and this Project 2025 becomes active, cut off abortion, emergency contraceptive, and use the Comstock Act to prosecute those who send or receive contraceptives and abortion pills. Okay? So, you women, since you have this freedom and liberty to gad abroad, I hope you're listening. You better learn to just keep your legs closed from now on. And it says here, it proposes criminalizing pornography, removing legal protections against discrimination based on sexual orientation, gender identity, and terminating diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. And affirmative action by having the DOJ prosecute anti-white racism. Sometimes referred to as reverse discrimination is the concept that affirmative action is similar color-conscious programs for redressing racial inequality are forms of anti-white racism. The project recommends the arrest, detention, and deportation of illegal immigrants living in the country. It proposes deploying the military for domestic law enforcement. Sounds like martial law. It promotes capital punishment and the speedy finality of those sentences. It hopes to undo almost everything implemented by the Biden administration. Okay, although Project 2025 cannot legally promote a presidential candidate without endangering its 501c3 tax-exempt status, many contributors are associated with Trump and his campaign. Okay, so, and here's another thing, the Agenda 47 is the manifesto of the Republican Party presidential candidate Donald Trump, which details policies that would be implemented upon his election as the 47th president of the United States. Let me just go into this a little bit. So let's see. Agenda 47 is a collection of formal policy plans of Donald Trump, many of which would rely on executive orders and significantly expanded executive power. The platform has been criticized for its approach to climate change, public health, its legality and feasibility, and the risk that it will increase inflation. Some have described it as fascist or authoritarian. In September 2024, Trump's campaign launched a tour called Team Trump Agenda 47 Policy Tour to promote Agenda 47. So, I hope y'all are listening to this because, you know, this sounds like a lot of things, you know, martial law, draconian measures, you know, the dictatorship, you know, I mean, you can read this stuff on your own, but I'm just saying that this is not a game, okay? It says, you know, okay, so it says here, the campaign's website layout has changed. As of 2024, there is a new section called Platform where a synthesis of main policies can be found. President Trump's 20 core promises to make America great again. First, seal the border and stop migrant invasion. Carry out the largest deportation operation in American history. End inflation and make America affordable again. Make America the dominant energy producer in the world by far. Stop outsourcing and turn the United States into a manufacturing superpower. Large tax cuts for workers and no tax on tips. Defend our Constitution, our Bill of Rights, our fundamental freedoms, including freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and the right to keep the bear arms. Prevent World War III, restore peace in Europe and the Middle East. And build a great Iron Dome missile defense shield over our entire country, all made in America. End the weaponization of government against the American people. Stop the migrant crime epidemic, demolish the foreign drug cartels, crush gang violence, and lock up violent offenders. Rebuild our cities, include Washington, D.C., making them safe, clean, and beautiful again. I mean, you can go over this on your own, but World War III's Bible of prophecy is going to happen. So we're going to go ahead and get into these scripts here. So this is going to be the book of it's going to be the book of Ezekiel. you know, and the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai has been warning you all through his prophets. You know, Trump just might be the one who brings about the end here, and Lord willing, it doesn't really matter who wins, whether it be Kamala or Trump. Either way, it's going to set off a chain of events, and everything's just going to escalate. And this is Ezekiel 21, verse 9, and I'll start at verse 8, and it says, "Again, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, prophesy and say, Thus saith the Lord, say, a sword is sharpened and also furbished." Verse 10, "It is sharpened to make a sore slaughter. It is furbished that it may glitter. Should we then make mirth? It contemneth the rod of my son as every tree." Verse 11, "And he hath given it to be furbished, that it may be handled. The sword is sharpened, and it is furbished to give it unto the hand of the slayer." So, when it's talking about a sword is sharpened, okay, Esau Edom, he's been prepping for years for this moment. He's been prepping for years, okay, to bring forth this agenda, okay, to have everyone, I should say, accustomed to how he wants things to be done, how he wants people to live. He wants people to do things his way. And so now he's, because us prophets are out there on the highways and byways, exposing him day after day. The Lord, Esau Edom, he's trying to do everything he can to cover up his lies, his deceit, his ill-gotten gains. So he's going to come down with that great wrath. Okay, he's going to come with it. And the majority of the people out here, they're so damn blind. They're so damn caught up in social media, living their best life. And they're just caught up in nonsense. Okay, they're distracted by all this news media bullcrap that Esau puts out there to keep them distracted and dumbed down from what's really going on. These people really have no idea. They really have no idea. This year ain't over yet, but can something happen? Yes, but we'll just have to just be patient and see. But the sword is that ungodly army of men of war. Because, as I just read earlier, having the military to, using the military and to, bring them into the streets, taking over the area, and bringing down those harsh measures and laws and rules and regulations. It's going to be a complete living hell. It's going to be a living hell. And of course, you're going to have people that are going to revolt and end up getting blown away, deleted. But, this is what's coming. And, a lot of these people, they're just, like I said, they're blind. Okay, this is verse 12. And then also it says, in the hand of the slayer. Now, who's the slayer? That this sword is going to be handed to. It's going to be handed to Esau. Okay? Verse 12 says, "Cry and howl, son of man, for it shall be upon my people. It shall be upon all the princes of Israel. Terrors by reason of the sword shall be upon my people. Smite therefore upon thy thigh." Okay? So, let's get Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 7. Okay, and it says here, actually, let me see something here. Actually, I'm going to start at verse 5. And it says, "For thus saith the Lord, we have heard a voice of trembling
of fear and not of peace. Verse 6, ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with a child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. So, in that day, people are going to be scared. Even the men who thought they were all macho and badass, carrying themselves in a high-minded manner, even they're going to be pissing their pants. You're going to see them turn into little bitches real quick. The only men out here that are going to show any type of the only real men that are going to show any type of backbone, but at the same time use wisdom, is the men of the Lord, the elect. Okay? Being brave is not all about being ballsy. It's about using your head, thinking. Okay? Verse 7, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Okay? Jacob's trouble. It's going to be a time like never before. Alright? This is that time. I would say that we're in the beginning stages of Jacob's trouble, but right now nothing's really popped off yet. Nothing's really popped off yet. Right now, Esau Edom is just trying to do whatever he can to maintain law and order in his land, but it's not working. His system is gradually falling apart. Okay? Now we're going back to Ezekiel, chapter 9, verse, let me see. Well, let me think here. So, okay, give me a second. There we go. This is Ezekiel chapter 7. And I'm going to start at verse 3. And it says, now is the end come upon thee, and I will send mine anger upon thee, and I will judge thee according to thy ways, and will recompense upon thee all thine abominations. Verse 4. And mine eye shall not spare thee, neither will I have pity, but I will recompense thy ways upon thee, and thine abominations shall be in the midst of thee, and ye shall know that I am the Lord. Verse 5. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and evil, and only evil, behold, is come. And verse 6, an end is come. The end is come, it watcheth for thee. Behold, it is come. So, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is pissed, and he's going to bring everything to the table. We think we're going through hell right now. We don't know what hell is. We don't. Verse 7, the morning is come unto thee, O thou that dwellest in the land. The time is come, the day of trouble is near, and not the sounding again of the mountains. So, an evil and only evil. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is really going to bring this wrath. In fact, and it did talk about camps, detention camps. So let's get that in Revelation chapter 2. No, actually, let me get Revelation 12. Excuse me. Revelation chapter 12, verse 12. And it says, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Okay? So Esau Edom is going to bring in those troops. And this is verse 13. And when the dragon saw that he was cast into the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child. And who is that woman? It's talking about Israel. And which brought forth the man-child, right? Now, in a spiritual sense, yes. That woman's talking about Israel, the man-child. Okay? Would be Yahushua, but this is talking about the elect, right? So, Esau Edom, his main and sole purpose is to he wants to annihilate Jake. He wants to get rid of Israel. But the Lord is not going to allow that. Okay? So think about it, man. Like, this is Esau Edom will forever and always hate you, Jake. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians, and you speckled bird, whose father's sperm line goes back. Esau Edom will always hate you. This is Revelation chapter 2, verse 10. And it says, "Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life." Okay? Okay, now, verse 11. "He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. He that overcometh shall not be hurt of the second death." Okay? So, when Esau Edom comes flooding with those troops, and they imprison those that rebel and that are against this system, man, be faithful unto Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, because that is the moment, that is the ultimate moment, the trying of your faith. 10 days, that's just a number of completion. We don't know how many days we may be locked up. We may end up being martyrs, or the Lord may lift up a standard. We don't know until that time comes. But at the end of the day, man, you gotta have faith. Okay, so this is that's that hour of temptation. Are you gonna crack under pressure? Or are you gonna stand? Are you gonna hold firm? Because it's going to be the hardest thing. Okay, that's where you're really going to see people true colors. Like, who are they going to really stand with? Are they going to stand with the Lord, or are they going to stand with the system? And many of you are going to go with the system and ultimately be destroyed. That's what it says here in verse 11. Revelation 2:11. "He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. He that overcometh shall not be hurt of the second death." So if we resist until the end, we won't taste a missile. That's just simply put. This is going to be 2nd Esdras. It's going to be chapter 16. Let's see. Hold on a second. Okay. Second Esdras chapter 16. And let's see. Start at verse. I'll start at verse 8. 2nd Esdras 16:8. "The mighty Lord sendeth the plagues, and who is he that can drive them away? A fire shall go forth from his wrath, and who is he that may quench it?" Verse 10. "He shall cast lightnings, and who shall not fear? He shall thunder, and who shall not be afraid? The Lord shall threaten, and who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence?" So basically, who can stop the judgment of the Lord? Nobody. Nobody. Oh, it's going to darken a little. Go back to the top. But yeah, no one can stop the Lord's judgment. Nobody. Okay. Verse 12: The earth quaketh, and the foundation thereof. The sea arises up with waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled. And the fishes thereof are also before the Lord, and before the glory of his power. For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow, his arrows that he shooteth are sharp, and shall not miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. Verse 14: Behold, the plagues are sent, and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. Okay. Verse 15: The fire is kindled, and shall not be put out until it consume the foundation of the earth. Verse 16: Like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer returneth not backward, even so the plagues that shall be sent upon the earth shall not return again. Okay, so talking about those ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles. Okay, that's going to be the final and ultimate judgment of this place. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's going to be missiles flying everywhere, but the one that's going to receive, that nuclear punishment is America. Okay. Now I'm gonna go to let's see. This is gonna be. I'm gonna drop down to verse. Let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna go to there we go. I'm gonna drop down to verse 46. And it says, For strangers shall reap their fruits, and spoil their goods, overthrow their houses, and take their children captives. For in captivity and famine shall they get children. And they that occupy their merchandise with robbery, the more they deck their cities, their houses, their possessions, and their own persons. Okay, so the more I will be angry with them for their sins, saith the Lord. Like as an whore envieth a right, honest, and virtuous woman. Okay, so going back to verse 46, For strangers shall reap their fruits, and spoil their goods, overthrow their houses, and take their children captives, for in captivity and famine shall they get children. Shall they get children. So, when, let's put it this way, once those sleeper cells are activated, a lot of these places, houses, even these establishments, they're going to be ransacked. Okay? Ransacked. Spoiled. Okay? They're going to be robbed of everything. And their children will be taken captive. Okay? Like I said, these men are they're not gonna spare anybody. And it says right here, dropping down to verse 68. It says, For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you, and feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols. And they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and reproach, and trodden under foot. For there shall be in every place, in the next city, a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. And they shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods, and cast them out of their houses. Verse 73, Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire. Okay? So, when this great wrath comes, man, they're coming for those that fear Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, and that don't bend the knee to the system. I mean, yes, a lot of other people are going to get caught up in this mess. A lot of people are going to be deleted, unalived. But the fact that we hold this word and that we're preaching the truth, we are the main targets. We are the main targets. Jacob.
All right, and with that, that's all I had for this lesson. But I didn't mean for it to be too long. And with that, I would like to I hope that it was edifying into the body, into those that are listening and learning, and with all sincerity. All right, and I would like to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem, Rachat Wadash. I'd like to give double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles, a great millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity. And unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning. And unto the Ba'ath and Dobradah, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad, I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. See you in the next lesson, Lord willing. Kwam Yasharallah, Wa Abababal. You know, we're almost out of here. Just a little bit longer, and endure just a little bit more. Okay, the ultimate test is yet to come. Shalom, Barakatam.